What's up, guys? James Polk here, and of course, at the time recording that this video is getting posted, super excited that this is gonna happen about the blooming secret pack release. And the thing is about the way how I cashed in on the gems, not just for the special packs. Not just special packs, but the icon, the fields, everything else like that, the sleeves and all, but new cards to obtain, and it was quite the bonus pickup. So the normals and rares, we had about too much of them, so we had to dismantle the extras. And then the SRs, it's just 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, only one of this. And then the one boss, which I say it's more than enough to keep it super consistent for the deck profile as I'm about to showcase you guys. So it is going to be Vernusylph Ishizu with a hint of Earth Stun. So you guys can just pretty much comment down below about what to call this build, but I see myself most likely Ishizu Vernusylphs at the very least. But otherwise, let's just jump into this deck profile for you guys. So, mission of the deck revolves around the whole entire shtick of Earth Fairies. The lower level Vernusylphs all do something upon discarding themselves, as well as discarding another monster or another Vernusylph card, spell trap included, to do the actual resolution of the discard effect, and they can special summon any Earth monster across the universe from your graveyard to your field. And the turn you do this, you can't use no monster effects that isn't Earth. So Flowering Fields. I only ran 2 copies. So, the on-field effect of Flowering Fields is your anti-target of Vernusylphs. And then, upon discarding, this is your recursion of any Earth monster across the universe from your graveyard to your hand. Thawing Mountains, this is your draw card. And then, upon the field effect of Thawing Mountains, which I played 2 of, this lets you perform a second attack during each battle phase by having one Vernusylph being targeted doing so. Most cases, Thawing Mountains is your Cyber Twin Dragon. 3 Misting Seedlings, really good card. On field effect is all monsters everywhere lose 600 except Vernusylphs. And then upon discarding, this is your Stratos of Earth Fairies in general, except Misting Seedlings. Really good card. And then Awakening Forests, he does something super different about reviving any Earth monster across the universe. So here's how it works. He is the Armageddonite of Earth monster that can be normal summon set, and then after the Armageddonite type of an effect resolves, special one Earth monster that isn't the one that got sent from deck to graveyard. So most cases, you rather send the Ishizu Mills from deck to the graveyard, just so you can special literally any Earth across the universe except the one that you just sent to the graveyard. And then its on field effect is target a Vernusylph, double up the attack. So if you have Awakening Forest and Thawing Mountain on the field, and if you happen to have the field spell with Vera, which we'll get into, that's pretty much game instantly ends at that rate. 3 Flourishing Hills. Its on-field effect is that no Vernusylph monsters you control cannot be killed by effects, And upon discarding, this is your Stratos of all Vernusylph cards, spell traps included. Except itself. And then, as for the ratios, by the way, in case the Vernusylph monsters, 2 Flowering Fields, 2 Thawing Mountains, 3 Misting Seedlings, 3 Awakening Forests, 3 Flourishing Hills, and finally, 1 boss of Vernusylph's, Vera. She does something extra different, unlike the whole entire archetype themselves. Once per turn, when a monster effect activated by your opponent resolves, if you control 5 or more Earths, you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. And the effect negation does not activate, which is insane. And then it is a soft once per turn on the effect negation as well. So if you have multiple Veras, you can get the negation going. Side note, do not play more than 1 Vera unless you're playing Super Pure. And then each of the following effects of Vera once per turn. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it, and if you do, it becomes Earth. So mind control, and it becomes Earth. And then Vera, on your opponent's turn, can literally revive any Earth across the universe from your graveyard to your field, which is insane. Now, as for the rest of the monsters, Dino Wrestler Coelisalat, level 2 Dinosaur Tuner, of course. As you notice, we got Synchros. Same with the Ghost Bell. We already know what's up with Ghost Bell. So the Dino Wrestler Coelisalat, if you control no monsters, free special, so that opens up your Synchro place like it's meant to do. And then if summoned this way, cannot be used as link material except link summon of a Dino Wrestler monster, but generally the idea is that we have a Synchro play, so we're fine. Ghost Bell, she's an Earth, extra relevant to the Vernusylph stuffs. And then Barrier Statue of the Drought, shouldn't need to say anything about this. No one specials anything except Earths, and this whole entire shtick is Earths. So it is absolutely fine. Token Collector, game automatically ends versus Sword Soul or any deck that deals with token generating strats. And especially the fact that in any grind game state is where if they somehow knock out your flood gauge, you can just outright use Vera to bring back the card you destroy and then keep on blocking them from doing anything. And then the Ishizu package, Keldo, Mudora, Kelbeck, and Agido, pretty straightforward. Also, the Earth Channeler, she is really, really good because she can help you get your missing key pieces in terms of Vernusylph cards, so you can keep the discard effects going. So the case is, you discard this, and 1 Earth, add 1 Earth across the universe that is 1850 or less attack, whose original type is the same one as discarded monster, and obviously can't do no effects of non-Earths. So, Earth monster with 1850 or less attack upon discarding. So, Coelisalat can be searched out by discarding Pancratops, courtesy of Alsa, in terms of synchro plays. And then the whole entire Ishizu Vernusylphs are fairies, so literally any key piece that are 1850 or less, so that would be the likes of Flowering Fields, Thawing Mountains, Misting Seedlings, Flourishing Hills, Awakening Forests, the whole entire Ishizus, and then that's pretty much it. Vera doesn't count because she has too much attack. And then when your Earth monster gets killed by battle, free special from hand. Each effect of also the Earth Channeler once. Mechanical Hound. The spiciest Vernusylph tech ever there is. While you have no cards in your hand, your opponent cannot activate spells. So in this context, on your turn 1, if you somehow stick this on the field, and if you have no cards in your hand, by putting up the most oppressive floodgate board, the game instantly ends. As in, against Sky Striker, Runics, or any other super heavy spell lineups. Same with Pendulums. Pankratops, shouldn't need to say anything about it. Also, Vera can also bring Pankratops back once the pop effect comes up, which is insanity. And then the spell lineup, starting with the new cards, 2 Full Blooms, because if I happen to draw one, as long as I don't draw another, you should be in a pretty good spot to keep yourself super consistent to see Vera in your deck at all times. Like, in any oppressive board state, if Vera is not in your graveyard or if Vera is not in your graveyard or hand throughout the course of the beginning of the game, then that tells you Vera is in the deck, and then it lets you able to get out the boss like it's meant to do. As in, banish the specific card called Vernusylph and the Flowering Buds to special summon Vera straight from your deck. And then the rest of the bonus effects goes as follows. All monsters you control gain extra 1000 attack while you control 5 or more Earth monsters, so that's super nice. And then if a Vernusylph monster is more than one, it's special summon from the graveyard outside of the damage step. Target one monster on the field or in either graveyard, put it back to your hand, which is super insane of a field spell. Vernusylph Corolla, this is your power source of Vernusylphs, because in case if the card gets killed, you have your Ishizu putbacks such as Keldo and Mudora can put it back to the deck, and you also have Flourishing Hills to fish out the same Corolla that was once destroyed. Same with the Full Bloom. So as for the Corolla, every Earth monster across the whole Yu-Gi-Oh universe are also treated as Vernusylphs. And if you were to perform the discard effect off from the normal effects of Vernusylphs, you could just simply discard that Vernusylph monster as the whole entire requirement to fulfill the condition of the effect. So, discard itself, recurse something, discard itself to draw one, discard itself to search for a Earth Fairy, discard itself to search for a Vernusylph card, spell trap included, that's not Flourishing Hills, and then discard itself, Armageddon Knight, any Earth monster across the whole entire universe, and then special the one that's not Armageddon Knight. That can be normal summon set. And then, of course, Call by the Grave, because Ash Blossom is a thing to stop their resolution of the discard effects. Also, double Tactics talent, cards Clutch, Duster, Raigeki. And then the traps, 2 copies of Vernusylph and the Flower Buds. Aside from the use for banishing it to summon out Vera, its actual effects as follows. Target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Earth monsters you control with different names that were special summoned from the graveyard. Return Earth monsters you control to the hand equal to the number of targets, and if you return at least one to the hand, return the targeted cards to the hand. Hard ones on the flower buds. Changing Seasons. Changing Seasons is ridiculousness. Target one Vernusylph monster in your graveyard, either add it to the hand or special summon it out. And then during your opponent's turn, except the turn that this card was sent there, so breakthrough skill clause. If you have no cards in your hand, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon as many Vernusylph monsters as possible with different names from your graveyard, but return them to the hand during your end phase. This is basically Soul Charge of Vernusylphs. Konami did this as the biggest mistake that they ever did for printing out Soul Charge of this archetype, which is insanity. And then 2 impermanences. Couldn't make space for a third, but I digress. And then extra deck. And again, this is the beta version of the deck, so keep that in mind. This is the experimental stage process of the whole entire main and extra deck, so bear with me, guys. Beast, Bark, Landoise. We all know what's up with the Naturia Synchros. Spell card, send 2 to negate it. Trap card, banish 2 cards to negate it. Landoise, on the other hand, when a monster effect triggers, send a spell from hand to graveyard for the monster negate. Goyo Guardian, he is also an Earth, and if you're wondering on the Earth tuners, that would be Ghost Spell and a Dino Wrestler tuner. So 2 and some 4s, as well as 3 and a 3 to make Goyo, as well as Sihemith. Goyo, obviously, card's good. And then Sihemith, on the other hand, generic 6, super old synchro. If you're not too familiar about what HTS Sihemith does, here's how the card works. After damage calculation, when this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster, also banish this card. DD Warrior Lady of Synchros. And of course, I already mentioned Landoise, Samurai Destroyer. If you're wondering about how I can get out Landoise, you have a 2 and a 5, and then 3 and a 4 to make Landoise or Samurai Destroyer. So, Samurai Destroyer here. If this card battles an opponent's monster, your opponent cannot activate effects or cards until the end of the damage step. Also, that opponent's monster has its effects negated during the battle phase only. So, Armades on steroids, which is super insane. And then if this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field, not counting the extra, just because of an opponent's card effect, target one machine in your graveyard, self basically, special summon it out. Which is extra nice. Dino Wrestler Giga Spino Savate. Card is ridiculous. If you are wondering about how I can get this out on the field, that would be the likes of the Dino Wrestler Coelisalat, obviously the Dinosaur Tuner, as well as any up to 2 level 3s in combinations in order to get out Spino Savate. And the reason why I say he's basically a custom card, here's how he works. First effect, he's an Ancient Gear. Secondary effect, he is a Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax, as in Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one. Third effect, he's basically Baron de Fleur, but only pops monsters your opponent controls. And the last effect, Saving Grace. By battle or card effect, as in destroy one card you control instead. Custom cards, I tell you. Leo, the Keeper of Sacred Trees. If you're wondering about Leo, that will be the likes of a 4, a 3, 2 4s, and a level 2. So 4 4, that's 8, and then 2. There goes your Leo. And then for the Leo, you also have Bell being the tuner. So 3, any of the 3s, and a 4. So your combinations of making Leo is pretty small, but it's 2 4s and a level 2, as well as 2 level 3s and a 4 for Leo. As an old card, if you never saw how Leo works, here's how he works. Your opponent cannot target Leo within card effects except during your main phase 2. Most cases, if I control Leo, they can only target Leo on my main phase 2. Virtual World Shell, Jaja, he's the best XZ. And the thing about how Jaja works is that most of the main deck stuff is Earth Fairies. It makes it so that Jaja is able to banish that opponent's monster as of after damage calc while you have 2 or more monsters in your graveyard with the same original type and attribute as each other. And on top of that, Jaja's detached material is this. Target one face-up monster you control. It cannot be killed by battle until the end of your opponent's turn. Gemini Pearl, for the sake of the beat sticks. Fairy King Alverdage, Dudes in Earth, super old XZ. Once per turn, soft once per turn, detach 1, all non-Earths everywhere on the field lose 500 attack and defense permanently. Drill Driver, Dudes in Earth. In case obviously Driver gets killed, any of the level 5s you get or lower, this lets you literally revive anything and everything that's 5 or lower, especially the fact that in a grind game state you can just outright bring back the statue to keep on blocking your opponent from playing the game unless it's Adamanticators in terms of the Earth version of Adamanticators, because their synchros are different attributes, and unless they can put up with something that isn't Earth's, they're just stuck with Earth's for the rest of the time while the statue is out. Mrs. Radiant, the whole shtick is Earth. Velma, when it comes to Velma's search targets, 2 high of defense, Thawing Mountains can be searched out, Misting Ceilings can be searched out, Barrier Statue, Bell's defense is too high, Dino Wrestler Tuner for sure, not Token Collector, not Flourishing Hills, defense too high, not Awakening Forest too high, definitely not Keldo, definitely not Mudora Kelbeck. Agido can be searched out for sure. Also Earth Channeler for sure. Mechanical Hound, Pankratops, Vera's defense is way too high. So you have Tops, Hound, Velma the Earth Channeler, Agido, Dino Wrestler Tuner, Thawing Mountains, Misting Ceilings, Earth Barrier Statue. And then Geonator Transverser, she's an Earth. You still want your creature swap abilities to be live. And with that being said, this is James Polk on this beta testing of Ishizu Vernusylphs. And with that, let us go to a showcase in about a few minutes. And of course, as you can see, looking at this hand, it is instantaneous synergy at its finest. Literally, any Vernusylph and an Ishizu piece, automatically synergy. Flourishing Hills, discarding Kelbeck. There's the Ash. Kelbeck, what is my opponent on? Pendulums, as it seems. Sky Iris, Harmonizing, Odd Eyes Persona, Odd Eyes Pendulum, and Soul Pendulum. And my mills, all from the Agito. Flowering Fields, Awakening Forest, Misting Ceilings, Token Collector, and Raigeki. And one set. Opponent set one as well, and a pass. Awakening Forest, Ditch Thawing Mountains, Toss out Agito, Special Flourishing Hills, Agito, Imperm, Tuning, Stargazer, Pendulum Call, and Odd Eyes Dissolver. And as for my mills, Full Bloom, Earth Statue, Double Flower Buds, and another Awakening Forests. And of course, what's called phones going off earlier, so don't mind that. Normal Keldo, Flourishing Hills and Keldo for Velma. 1850. And based off of those mills by my opponent, where are the Earth monsters? I don't know. Gold Fang scaled, Dragon Pit scaled, Pendulum back. If you have 2 cards in Pendulum zones, he does. 2 monsters in your graveyard, each with a level exclusive to scales of the zones added into the hand. Most cases, that would be the likes of Pendulum Dragon, if I recall. Yeah, Tuning Magician and Pendulum Dragon, if that isn't the case. Chaining Keldo, going after Tuning Magician, or Harmonizing Magician, excuse me. Harmonizing, Pendulum, and Full Bloom. So that way there's no recursion. Pendulum Shokens 1, Odd Eyes Phantom, Normal's Tuning, Synchro for 8, Enlightenment Paladin. As for Enlightenment Paladin, generic 8. If this card is Synchro Summon using a Magician Pendulum monster as material, he didn't. That is a Odd Eyes Pendulum. You can target one spell in your graveyard, add it back to your hand, gross. And then when this card kills an opponent's monster by battle, burn your opponent equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. So Flame Wing Man, but original full attack. Originally, I wanted to imperm the Enlightenment for no effect damage, but I said to myself, it's not worth doing that yet. So, also getting Pankratops and Enlightenment Paladin taking the 1850 with it. Specials Pankratops after top decking Flower Buds. Pankratops over Enlightenment Paladin. Feather Duster to Scales. Set. And a pass. Raigekis. The Pankratops. Top decks Flourishing Hills. We will wait for now. Opponent drew and a hard pass. Top decks Misting and Seedlings. Getting Full Bloom. And Specials Pankratops from Graveyard. Full Bloom. And all this time off from the Ishizu Millers. Did we not see... No sight of Vera. That pretty much means she's in the deck somewhere. So in this case, Full Bloom, banish Flower Buds. Whoa! Quite the animation for Vera. Pankratops and Vera. Vera, revive the Earth statue. At this point, because we are playing against pendulums, if my opponent doesn't have any Earth monster, after digging too many cards, the game instantly ends. Mirage Dragon Scale, Duelist Alliance, getting Pendulum Call. Pendulum Call, discards Reload. Dragon Pulse, Harmonizing. Dragon Pulse Scaled. And due to the Earth Barrier statue making the Pendulum player stuck, Pendulum player scooped. So guys, that's gonna do it on this small showcase of a beta testing of Vernusylphs. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you haven't already, hit that notification bell to keep yourself constantly updated. And we'll catch you guys next time.